Hi, this is Cheryl Gallant, your Conservative Member of Parliament for the expert-filled riding of Renfrew-Nipissing-Pembroke. I want to begin by briefly raising a point from last week's video. In case you missed it, and judging by the viewership numbers, most did, I recapped the ongoing debate between biologists about whether the eastern wolf is a distinct species. The problem was that both sides, that the debate had clearly stated in their scientific papers that the goal of their research was to change public policy. Both sides had the same goal, the conservation of wolves. But because of differences in US and Canadian law, they were each trying to prove what best matches their political goals. Scientists are supposed to test their hypotheses, not try to prove them. This week, the elite stream media went into expert overdrive as a way to attack Doug Ford's decision to close 10 drug dens located within 200 meters of schools. As part of the announcement, the Ontario Health Minister revealed that communities where drug dens were located had a 45% increase in homicides compared to neighborhoods without the Liberal-funded drug dens. Other crime statistics were also up, but a 45% increase in murder is all anyone needs to know. How many Canadians are we willing to have murdered before overdose deaths are prevented? The whole justification by the so-called experts for these harm production drug dens is that they prevent deaths. These experts pushing harm production know that violence and crime come with these drug dens. But just like these wolf biologists, they don't care about reality. They want a political outcome, and they will say anything to get it. This week, in response to a question about his leadership of the Liberal Party, Trudeau said he was sticking it out and he would not be making any policy changes in the face of slumping poll numbers. The question was asked at a Liberal press conference to announce policy changes to the temporary foreign workers program. Lying comes so naturally for Trudeau that he will even deny doing the very thing he is currently doing. The Liberals broke the immigration system. Before Trudeau, Canada's immigration system was so popular the Americans wanted to copy it. In fact, Justin Trudeau used to criticize Stephen Harper for letting in too many low-skilled temporary foreign workers. For Justin Trudeau, 4,000 low-skilled temporary foreign workers was too many in 2015. Last year, Trudeau brought in over 25,000 low-skilled temporary foreign workers. Now, Canadian youth unemployment has reached record levels. This is all Justin Trudeau's fault. I know Liberals love to make excuses for Trudeau. They try and blame everything on mythical supply chains or Putin or on Trump. But this was a direct decision by the Trudeau NDP Liberal government. They made the change in policy. Now, the Liberals want credit for fixing a problem they created. It's time to get back to the kind of common sense government Canadians last had under Conservatives. Trudeau once said the government he most admires was the regime of communists who control China. He said this even before the communists helped him win the most seats without the most voters in the last 2 elections. Now Trudeau is taking another page from the communist playbook with his plan to lease federal lands to his hand-picked developers to build what he calls the right kind of homes. This is in keeping with the World Economic Forum agenda, which called for a future where private property rights are effectively abolished. This policy, where governments lease land to developers to build homes, is a fundamental part of China's communist economy, and it is collapsing before our very eyes. These companies owe billions of dollars in debt they cannot pay. They sold homes they can't afford to build. Millions of people were tricked into buying these properties, are now going to lose their life savings. And this is the policy Trudeau wants to bring to Canada. Just listen to how Trudeau talks like a petty dictator.
The federal government owns tons of land in cities and towns across the country. You could build a lot of homes on those lands, so that's what we're going to do. We're offering up that public land for housing. And we're not just going to sell it all to developers, we're going to long-term lease it. See, by leasing the land, we get to work with communities to make sure that home builders are building the right homes.
By not selling the land to developers, Trudeau gets to maintain political control, as he says, to make sure they build the right kind of homes. Trudeau's arrogance knows no bounds. This really highlights the difference between Liberals, the media, and the so-called experts, and the rest of us. There's just one expert in this country on what the right kind of home for you is, and that is you. Trudeau and a lot of people like him think they know what's best for you. They think they know what kind of car you should drive, what kind of food you should eat, what kind of shows you should watch, and what kind of home you should live in. Trudeau even has a little catalog of all the kinds of housing he thinks are right for you. It just doesn't include the type of home millions of young Canadians say they need. I don't know a single Canadian that wants to have Justin Trudeau as their landlord. Then again, I don't know a lot of Liberals. But the question Liberal voters should ask before automatically supporting Comrade Trudeau's latest plot is, why do they want Pierre to be their next landlord? Jagmeet Singh's coalition with Justin Trudeau has been a disaster for working Canadians. Life has never been more expensive, with families having to pay $700 more for groceries this year than they did in 2023. And millions of Canadians are having to line up outside food banks just to survive. When Jagmeet Singh first agreed to join the Liberal NDP Costly Coalition, he told Canadians that it was about making life more affordable. Yet just 2 years later, Singh has admitted when you go into the grocery store, you're spending more than ever before, and you're leaving with less than ever before. The Liberal NDP Costly Coalition has failed. They refused to stand up for Canadian workers, while Trudeau added billions of dollars of wasteful spending onto the inflationary fire. They supported Justin Trudeau even as he hiked his carbon tax by 23% as part of his plan to quadruple the carbon tax by 2030. Common sense conservatives have a message for Jagmeet Singh. Canadians can't afford another year of Justin Trudeau, and they can't afford your coalition. The longer you prop up this failing Liberal government, the longer our workers are going to suffer. Jagmeet Singh must put Canadian workers before his $2.2 million pension. No one voted for the Liberal NDP coalition, and no one wants another year of Trudeau's economic misery. The NDP must pull out of the Costly Coalition and join with common sense conservatives in calling for a carbon tax election. Only then are Canadians going to have a government that acts as a tax and bring home powerful paychecks for everyone. Live from Ottawa, this is Cheryl Gallant.